Welcome to this training on the new Google Forms. This is as of April 2017. So as you know with Google, if this video is more than 6 months old, then you probably want to look for a new one because Google's always changing things. So to get started, we're here in Google Drive. I'm going to go to the New button, down to More, and then Google Forms. And you'll notice there's a little pop-out arrow here, and I can start with a blank form or a form from a template. So let's look at that. Google does give about a half a dozen or so, or about a dozen different types of forms that you can use just to get started with. So if you don't really know how to get started with a Google form, this is a great way to do it. Again, remember your audience. If you're doing an internal audience for your department, you can get a little crazy and creative, but if it is for a wider audience, you may want to stick with university colors or company colors, depending on who is watching that. For the moment, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Google Drive and back to New, More, and just hit the Google Forms. And that's going to take me to just a basic blank Google form. And we have our section here where we're going to name our form, and this is going to be an online registration form. And the nice thing is, this is the name of the form. If I come up here, this is where you give it the document name, and if I just click here, it grabs the title from the form and puts it as the title of the document. And I could change this to something else if I wanted to. I could give it a form description and explain what the purpose of this form is. I come down here, I've got my first question, and I notice over here I've got the default is multiple choice. If I hit the down arrow, I'll see other options: short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checkbox. Remember, the difference between multiple choice and checkboxes is if you choose multiple choice, there's only one correct answer. If you do checkboxes, then there are multiple checkboxes could be used. Drop-down list, you can now upload files through your Google form, linear scale, the multiple choice grid, and then you could also have them enter date and time. For now, we're just going to leave this the default because I'm going to show you a cool feature that Google has added. I'm going to type in first name, and you'll notice that Google automatically changed from multiple choice to short answer. Down here I have the option to make it required, which I will do, and then I have my add button right here, so I can add the next and do last name. And again, it's going to change it to short answer. I'm going to make that required. And you'll notice over here on your ad, you've got other things that you can add. You can add a video, you can add a picture. This is just to add a title or description, and a section break where you can break up your form into different sections. And this is very useful if you're going to have different sections be filled out based on a question. And this video, we're not going to go into that. This is just a very basic video on how to set up a form. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next question. And this time I'm going to say enter an email address. Again, changes it to short answer, but this time with the email address, we want to come down here to these three dots where we can select data validation, because we want to make sure that they actually enter an email address. So there's a lot of different options you can do here, but I'm going to hit text and contains. Well, we want to make sure it contains an email address, and that will force them to enter an email address. There's another way to collect email addresses, but we'll show that in a moment. We're not going to make this one required. Add one more. And you'll notice when I started typing "will you need," it automatically popped up with some suggestions. So let me go ahead and finish my question. And notice spell checking does work, and I can right mouse button click and get the right word. And I can say, yeah, add all of these. And then as you think about it, you go, no, I need to know yes or no whether or not this person is going to need assistance in making their flight reservations. So I can come over here to the line where it says maybe and click the X. And you'll notice that you have this little picture icon. So you can insert pictures to allow them to know, to have a visual. And let's see, I guess that's all the questions we need to answer or ask for this. Add-ons are something we won't talk about in this video, but I will be doing a video about a really cool add-on for Google Forms. Here is where you can change the color palette. You can pick different colors. You can go in and pick different pictures if you like. You can upload your own from your photo album. For the moment, though, we will just change the color to something other than purple. This button here is the preview button. It allows you to preview your form, and so you can kind of take a look at it and then close it to go back. Settings. This is where you can say collect email address. Response receipts. If you turn this on, it will give the person filling out the form either the option to request their answers, or you could just have it automatically send back their answers. Restrict to a zoo-specific university. If you want only APU people to be able to fill out this form, then you could turn this on. If you want anyone to be able to fill it out, then you want to be sure to turn that off. And if you've got a conference where it's outsiders coming in, you definitely need to be able to turn this off. It also appears now that Google will still collect the email address even outside the APU community. You can also select limit one response. So this will respond them to sign into Google and limit them to only one response. You can turn these on, and these are up what the respondent will see once they've filled out the form. I'm going to leave these off. There is a section here called presentation. If you have a long form, it's really great to show a progress bar. Let them know how far they are from completion. Shuffle the question order. This is great with quizzes and that type of thing. Show link to submit another request. If you want them to be able to do multiple requests, you can turn a link on. And then you can change the default confirmation message. Quizzes is a relatively new feature. We're not going to go into that in this video, but it is now available. So I'll go ahead and hit save. We're going to skip the send button for a moment. We're going to go over here to the more button. This is where you could make a copy of this form. Or if you don't need the form anymore or you're not happy with it, you can just move it to trash. Get pre-filled link. This will allow you to kind of do default questions and be able to fill that out. Print. This is a relatively new one, but you can now print out your form. This has been something that has been requested multiple times by people. You can now print it. You won't be able to validate like email address or that type of thing, but you will be able to do it. And because I'm collecting the email address, I probably don't need it down here. So we'll fix that. Go ahead and hit cancel. Let's go back up here to the more. Add collaborators. If you have other people who you want to be able to work on this form and edit the form, you can add collaborators just like you do any other Google Doc. Now, as I said, we're collecting email address here, so we don't really need to ask for it here. So I can come down here, click, here's my trash can, and I can just delete the email address because we're collecting it by default, and they can't really change that. And then we have the send button. And when you click the send button, you can email this to people. You can get the link and put it into a email or on a website, wherever you need to put it. They also now offer the shortened form of that, makes it a little easier. And then embedding, in which we won't get into embedding here. But again, you want to be sure to give and publish this type of a link. If you publish this link, then they're not going to be able to access it because they won't be a collaborator unless you've shared it with them. A new feature that's really cool is this response section. And it allows you just to here in the form, look at your responses, and you'll see graphs and stuff. That's very cool. You can still go back to create a worksheet and see your information in that Google Sheet format. You've got the More button here. Get notifications for new responses. They finally have added that into the new forms. You can download your results as a CSV and pull it into Excel, and a place to delete all your responses. This allows you to turn on and off whether you're accepting responses. So this is just a very quick overview of the Google Forms. I hope you have liked it. Feel free to email training@apu.edu with video suggestions or questions you may have.